Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the after show for Grimsby High, the all-nighter. Um, this was a lot of fun. This was so ludicrous and hilarious and great. We're gonna go around do stars and wishes. There were there were a couple of little lore drops there, that absolutely had nothing to do with the fact that I forgot the name of the previous principal. No, not at all. Um, so I we'll start with Patrick. Patrick.
All right. Well, first, I would love to give a star to Ray for refusing to give up on bashing himself through a wall. That was a cascade of failure that, he just kept going until he met with success, which I thought was delightful. Just was not going to let that one pass. So that was wonderful, and I very much enjoyed how the entire crew came together in that last fight to come up with, interesting ways to try to defeat a spectral principal. This we assume he's spectral, especially like the wrestling move. I figure, of course, he took damage. He's an old man. You like put him into any wrestling hold, it's going to hurt his lower back a lot. Um, the only thing I have for wishes is, I wish we could play Grimsby a bit more often. But of course, the moons have to be right, and certain circumstances have to be going on, like national holidays over in Canada and other things like that. So I'm just very happy that we had the opportunity to play because I really enjoy this group.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's throw it over to Julie.
I love how everybody just jumped. I mean, it's been months. I don't even remember how the last time that we played, and everybody just jumped right back into their characters and really like used their characters' personalities to dictate what they were doing and how and reacting and stuff. And so that was an immense amount of fun. And big star to Trevor for coming up with some Scooby Doo shit. Yeah. The type adventure on the fly for us.
Okay. Let's go over to Ray.
Big star to Trevor for you because it's one thing to have an ongoing campaign, and it's just like a TV series where it's like, okay, this episode is going to kind of focus on this one character, and it's an ensemble, but we can do some stuff, and they have some time to shine. But to do all of that in one shot episode takes a lot more attention and planning. I think that the GM intrusions were a great way to facilitate that. So kudos to you for that. Great job. Another star for everyone. ECAT, oh my gosh. You just like saying fuck it and embracing the weird. I think that really set the tone, truly, instead of being combative and adversary to beat the shit at its own game. And I think that wound up setting the setting the stage for a much better and more interesting and fun story to tell. Um, wishes, I had one that got resolved because I was able to actually use some of my skills. One of the wishes I wish I had realized when trying to break down the wall that I have breaking inanimate objects as one of my skills.
Yeah, that would help.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Um, but part of me was generally looks like, okay, I've got this. And it's like, here's the situation. I can't use 90% of this.
Yep.
I've got a lot of people skills and persuasion and understanding the law and that type of and I get it that we're only doing this certain parts, but
Yeah.
it's like I would like to be able to use more of my skills in this character. If we can come back to it, that would be great, but that got addressed at the end when I found a way to use the whole rest. Like, that was perfect. So That was cool. Um, and I think that given everything how this transpired, like I think this went off probably as well and as typical for this crowd that it could have gone.
Yep. ECAT.
I'm going to echo everybody else for you, Trevor, for pulling out a one shot and a one shot that we finished in one shot. Um, I really, I agree. I really do like this group of characters. I do like that they are our go-to one-shotters because I don't know if I would want to do a monster of the week every week kind of thing, but I do like this every now and then, and how you make us have to think outside the box because we're a bunch of normies fighting ghosts half the time. Um, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. So thank you.
Uh, for me, echoing what most of you said in one way or another, how everyone just not only jumped right back into the characters, which is something that I love to see, um, but also like really leaned into the characters' strengths, um, and then found, as others have mentioned, um, interesting and creative ways to use those strengths, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do, especially when, as we said, these are characters that we only play every few months. Um, but no, it was. I mean, it was so much fun, and uh, I did have to kind of use the whirlwind of papers to steer you towards the old wing because I knew that as soon as we realized that as soon as I realized that it was a new principle and I was making that shit up on the spur of the moment, uh, and it's ECAT, you're like, yep, Jessica can just sit here all night and just dig into this, like, oh shit. So, um,
Fortunately, that's her character.
no, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Um, yeah, and I'm not, no, yeah, I'm not, criticizing or
Right.
throwing any shade or anything. That is exactly what Jessica would have done, and that's what happens when you pull a bunch of shit out of your ass at the last minute and don't check your notes. I was like, oh crap, okay, I don't feel like making that up off the top of my head when this is already good to go, and that's stuff that we can put a pin in, uh, and come back to. Um, but yeah,
So
yeah.
that's another cool thing that you did is then you turned that and it's like, what do you remember? What do you remember? It's like, bail me out, please.
No, it's I
You
mean, so
brought it up.
right.
You fix it.
um, well, no, because once we were headed down that road, then I mean, you know, I want you guys to be part of telling the story. Um, and I like the idea of having those little vignettes that kind of give you guys a bit of steering control, and then we come back, and then I can use that to, as we did, to fold to make the flashback be in context. Um, and so thank you all for kind of playing along with that little game. Um, as far as wishes, um, yes, yeah, this was a one shot that was intended to be done in 2 hours, which most one shots are not. Most one shots are aimed at closer to 4 hours, um, and so there is a part of me that wishes that we had that longer time block. Um, but on the other hand, and I will try to lean more on these in the future. But shout out to Monty Cook for the Cipher shorts, which is really a great way to do an adventure of this kind of length, because it really is, you're in a situation, here are some things that might happen, what do you do? Um, and we may see one of those in the near future from an unexpected corner. Um, but yeah, 2 hours is, I mean, we're all grown ups, we all have lives, and it's a Monday night because this is when we had time. 2 hours is a bit constrictive, um, and that sucks. But that's still better than nothing. Um, so I you know so yeah, lore bits. Um, as soon as you reminded me what the old principal's name was, it's like, well, okay, so yeah, the ending shot is going to be Blackmore taking a shot at Jameson, because had to do that. Um, but yeah, so a couple of interesting threads I think got dangled that you guys can pull on at some time later, assuming that I remember any of this and or go back and watch it.
You ask those of us who take notes.
Thank
Hey,
you, appreciate that. Um, yeah, anyone else have anything they want to bring up, add, theorize about, um, point out interesting
Yes.
lore that you'd like to explore in the future? Ray, go for it.
On your song, I recommend on the third line making the A natural and B natural, um, because it kind of you've definitely got this minor feel. Why does it remind me of a dance tune? I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, but then you have Grimsby High, our guiding light, and then it kind of sounds da 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 da,
Yeah,
like a minor "Oh Christmas Tree."
exactly. That was exactly where I was, where I pulled that bit of the melody from. Actually, I was like, oh yeah, this is coming out like a Christmas tree. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, no, you made it work. I mean, I commend you for coming up with this. So, sorry, that's something
Nope,
that
nope.
I and only I am going to notice.
Hey, you oh look, you are using your skills in new and interesting ways. Um, yeah, that was I got that idea in my head today, and it just wouldn't let go. It's like, okay, let's just spit something out. It's a first rough draft, but I
I
was
can
pleased.
put it in four-part harmony
Love it,
eventually. Don't
love
worry.
it, absolutely love it. That'll be our theme song for future Grimsby episodes.
Oh my God. Once I get my studio up and going, I can actually layer it and do the
Love it.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody else, please.
but because you wrote the song, of course I had to bring it in for the way to kill the principal.
Thank you.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, that technically that had not reduced him to zero health, but it's like nope, that's just way too poetic a move uh, not end it on that. So thank you for that. I really
Otherwise, it was really going to be me reaching into someone's backpack, finding a yearbook, and asking him to sign it.
that would have worked too. Love Plan B. Um, all right, so I think we can probably call this here. Um, again, this was a lot of fun. Anyone who's actually watching this at home, who watched the episode, I hope you guys had. If you guys had half as much fun watching it as we had making it, well, then we had twice as much fun making it as you had watching it. Um, so yeah, and I think with that little bit of callback to math class and Courtney's extra credit, I think we're gonna call it a night there. So for Ray, Julie, Patrick, and ECAT, once again, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Good night, everybody.